So you want to build a metal building. Let me tell you all the do's and the don'ts and everything that you're going to run into if you're going to try to tackle this yourself. Welcome to Fix It Randy. All right, so I'm about done out here. I really don't have much left. Everything's coming along great. I finally have electric over there. I have outdoor lights, I have indoor lights, I have fans, and I have most of my stuff in here. So everything is working out great. Getting ready to hook up the air compressor electric, the welder electric, eventually a lift, be right here. So, for whatever reason, if you're figuring out, I need extra space, what am I gonna do? You're gonna probably see that these metal buildings here are the way to go cost-wise, especially with wood out of this world. If you're wanting a tall building, this is pretty much the way to go. My wall size is 12 foot. At its very peak, it's just shy of 17 feet. And it's 25 by 30, just big enough to where I could fit it on my property line. I would have went 30 by 30, but I just didn't have the space. So, what are the behind the scenes costs? Well, I'll tell you what. The easiest part of this whole deal was having the building itself put up. If you're like me and you go outside and you say, yeah, I have a decently level yard, it shouldn't be too bad. Well, that's really not how this works. So my decently level yard ended up needing to be graded, having several dump trucks filled. You can see right here, believe it or not, whether the camera shows it, you can see that firewood up here to down here at the bottom, right about here. This is almost a 4-foot difference for just a little bit of grading. So this was several dump truck loads, bobcat and excavator and a compactor, a giant ride-on compactor. You can see we have plumbing coming out here. This is all the rainwater deposit. Yes, it doesn't look perfect yet because it's just not that far. Pretty much doing what I can when I can. So the behind the scenes stuff. Well, not only are you going to spend a small fortune in electric nowadays, you're also going to need to figure out rainwater. And most of these buildings, the slats push the rainwater this way, and then you would normally have gutters that take the water right here and deposit either the front or the back. Well, when they built this building, I didn't know this, but apparently it's an extra option to have the roof slats coming this way. So instead, the back of my building is higher than the front of my building, so all that rainwater from the rear of the building here comes all the way to the front and cascades down the front fascia here. So when that started to drill holes in my concrete right about here, I tried to find somebody to put up gutters. And as crazy as it sounds, nobody will touch the gutters on the front of an A-frame building. Nobody. I called everybody in Cincinnati, and not a single solitary company would do it. I even offered to sign whatever form that I needed to sign to have them put gutters up, and nothing. So in the end, I had to rent a lift and put up gutters myself, run along here. It was quite a pain, but it works. It functions pretty well. I've never done gutters before, so whether or not they are done right, I'm not sure, but they function. So if you do gutters for a living and you see stuff I did wrong, sorry. It's the best I could do with what I had. So the next things to think about: concrete. Concrete is extremely expensive right now. My first pour, which would have been the pad that the building was under, was $125 a yard. This pour here was $196 a yard. Only a few months difference, so 2022 costs. The other thing you must remember with these metal buildings is while they look really nice and as if they're really well sealed, they're not at all. I had to go around all the windows with caulking and spray foam. Also the floor, I had to have caulking right here. I probably have a case and a half of silicone on the floor here just to fill this gap. I also have in these corners here, this is nice pretty pieces, you can see the spray foam sticking out of those. I had to spray foam those, and that wasn't even for a insulative factor. Honestly, that was just to keep the water out from coming in. So that's just an extra added time and cost and thing that you're not worried about. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, the windows, the doors, that's all a la carte. So you start out with the initial price of the building, and then everything you add is extra money. And also, if you're in my county, Hamilton County, you'll realize too that you have to go and get permits and follow their rules and restrictions for what size building you can have, the height of the building that you can have, the door sizes on the building that you can have. Yes, that's apparently a thing. So, what else do we have? Insulation all around. This was kind of the most budget-friendly thing I could figure out for the time being. This is 1.5 inch styrofoam with the foil covering. I haven't gone through winter yet. It's fall right now. We'll see how it does. It could work pretty well, but I'm not sure. I have a couple of odds and ends to fix and fill in. But for the most part, we're going to run it this year and see how it does. One of the things about the insulation that I didn't understand or know initially is there's really not any places to hang this. So if you're not planning on finishing the building, which means adding studs and framework of wood or whatever, and drywall, however you are wanting to do it, you're going to have to fill that void if you're going to put insulation in it. And even a 25 by 30 building and 12-foot walls and such, I still spent about $1,500 for insulation. And then when it came to the time to put the insulation on the roof, I tried a few different things, and the best thing I could figure was there is these nails on a steel plate, and they use a washer like this. You glue the nail onto the surface that you're wanting to put the insulation. You push that insulation through, the nail pops out. Yeah, it's a little sketchy. So then you take this lock washer, you then push it through the nail, and this lock washer is what holds it to the ceiling. So far, this has been up here for about 2 months. It's done pretty well, but I'm going to see what it is like once winter's over, if it's going to actually handle the cold as well as the heat. Other things to plan on is the doors. Each door is a different size, also is different monetary value. That one's a 10 by 10, this one's a 7 by 9. You can only fit so much into the space you're doing, obviously, but nothing comes motorized. Everything is all fully manual. You can buy motors that will add on to these type of doors. They're decent doors. There's no insulation to them, so that's something you're going to have to remember as well. Also, spots around the doors, you'll have to go through and you'll have to insulate those. Same here, right in the front door. If you can see that glossy little line, that's some silicone there that I've just been going around over the past few months and fixing leaks as they come and go. Got my nice electric panel here. Ran conduit all the way out. I had roughly 200 feet of wire that I had to add from my panel in the house to get out to a panel out here. All right, your secondary thing is if you're not cooling, you might want to get some fans. You get some floor fans, but that takes up space, right? Something else you have to plug in and trip over. So I put in some ceiling fans out there. They work pretty decent. Get a lot of air moving. So that's something you want to think of as well. Also, lighting fixtures. A lot of lighting fixtures are quite expensive right now. Anything electronic, you probably know. $80 to $90 is what some I was looking into. I just took some normal light fixture holders, just your standard $5 light fixture holders. Let's see if I can turn this off. Zoom into there. You can see that. I did those, and then I did these lights that I found at Lowe's for about 26 bucks each. They're 5,500 lumens. Believe it or not, I have all 6 of these tied on the same circuit, and it only pulls 5 amps for all 6 lights, and it's lit up like a Christmas tree in here. Especially at nighttime. You really, honestly, you can't even tell it's nighttime outside. It's pretty good. So, if you want a cost-effective way to light everything, that would be a suggestion from me, is those lights. While they're 25 bucks a throw, they're LED, so they use less power. And they're supposed to last 5 years. We'll give that a test. But most of the stuff I run that's LED is actually pretty decent. So, we'll test it out. So the other thing, the last thing that I'm going to bring up is, how are you going to do all this yourself? Well, to do all the electric and to install my ceiling fixtures and whatnot, I rented a scissor lift. Something I honestly didn't even think about. Having 12-foot walls, those beams up there that everything is attached to are about 15 feet high. So unless you have an extremely large ladder, it's just going to be a pain. It's just not safe, you know, being on a ladder that high if you don't have anything to tie off to. So I rented a scissor lift for about 2 weeks and did all the electric and hanging fixtures and the insulation. So just to give you a forethought of that, here's an 8-foot ladder climbing up right now. Now here's the step below the top, and there's the 7-foot door. So if you can see, I'm only about 9 feet high. That's my head right there, about 9 feet. So to get up to even switch this thing to winter mode, I'm going to have like a stick or get a taller ladder to flip the fans to pull the heat down from the ceiling. Something I didn't even think about, but anytime a light bulb goes out, I'm going to have to pull my pickup truck in and put my ladder on top of the pickup truck, do the whole hillbilly thing, you know, like we do. So something to plan for, if you're not thinking of it, is how are you going to actually do everything? Now, of course, if you're somebody that's just going to call a contractor out and say, hey, here's what I want, this is what I want, here's my budget, you take care of everything. Obviously, it's not something you really have to think about till it comes time for you to change a light bulb. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. I would be happy to answer them. Expect more content to come. I've been quite busy, obviously, doing this for almost a year now. So I'm very happy to be done with it. I want to thank my wife and my kids for allowing me to be out here without giving me too much hell. And my father-in-law for being a big part of making this happen, because I got probably way over in my head on what I was doing here, but it all turned out great. So thank you for watching.